I don't think that anyone would disagree with me when I make the expression that the purpose of government officials and elected officials is to make things better and easier for the population, for the citizens of any community. And I think it holds true across the board. Of course, I wouldn't dare say that they all are the same or they all have the same amount of interest and they all launch the same kind of initiatives and they all have the same kind of heart. But there are some of them that do. And I'm happy today to have an elected official as a part of my show, who has initiated a project, a program, and an activity that's going to make life easier and better for many of the citizens, affected citizens in our community. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
And I'm your host, Alex Habersham, and I just wanted to give her just due in this introduction, and it's in the person of none other than Miss Erica Woodford, who's for pronouncing it correctly, I hear you, who's the clerk of Superior Court here in our community. It's an elected position, and she did an outstanding job of presenting her case to the public, and she won, and I want to congratulate her, not only on winning, but also entering the challenge with a conscientious nature of what the purpose of the Superior Court Clerk is and its job and its activity. Well, let's talk first generally about Superior Court, its functions and its objectives.
Well, Superior Court has many, many functions, many objectives, but my number one objective is to make that office more user-friendly and more efficient for the citizens. So what goes on in Superior Court? Again, many things. We hold all the criminal and civil records in the county dating back to the 1830s.
Wow.
We also have all the property records in the county. So all of your property deeds are in the Superior Court Clerk's office. If you would like to be a notary public, you come down to the Clerk of Superior Court's office. Also, we file or accept DD-214s or military discharges. So there are numerous functions of the office. We have citizens coming in every day utilizing our services. They're either looking up criminal records, looking for their old divorce petitions because they want to get remarried. We have title abstractors coming in every single day, researching deeds to make sure that the purchaser of the home will own that home free and clear. We also manage the jury. So if you're called to jury duty for Superior Court, you will see my face, and I manage that process as well.
Wow, well that's an awesome responsibility. So what kind of attitude did you go into that position with? You kind of embraced it a minute ago, and what did you do in keeping with, making it seamless as it relates to going to Superior Court?
Well, when I ran for the position, my goal and my platform was to make the office more user-friendly, more efficient for the citizens who use that office. And I've always had the goal and the desire to help people. That's why I went to law school, because I wanted to help people. And this is a great opportunity, again, to help the citizens access justice. We want every citizen in this county to have equal access to the justice system.
Yeah, okay, that's very true. And since you mentioned law school, we'll just interject at this point a little something about yourself.
Well, I am homegrown. I am from Macon. I went to Northeast High School. I went to Mercer University. And then I went to law school in Birmingham at Samford University, the Cumberland School of Law. So,
and did you practice?
I practiced here in Macon for about 8 years total. I did indigent criminal defense. I handled family law matters, property matters, as well as a little real estate law. Also, I was a magistrate judge. I had a 4-year term as a magistrate, and then I decided to run for clerk so that I could, again, help the citizens have access to justice.
Well, you must have started when you were 12.
I did. I was 12 and a half.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come right back and talk about this new exciting initiative that you just launched. But specifically, we want to talk about, something that she has recently been successful at. And she mentioned that she wanted to make this an excellent experience for people who had to go to Superior Court, and mentioned all of the things that Superior Court does. And so tell me about this new exciting venture that you just completed and are launching.
Well, back in November of last year, we began a pilot program where we started accepting debit and credit cards from the citizens. Prior to my administration, and your only option to make a payment to the Superior Court Clerk's office was to have cash or money order. So we began accepting credit and debit cards, and we also wanted to test drive, if you will, online or web-based payments. So we test drove that for a little while. It was quite successful, and so we are happy to roll out and offer to the public online web-based payments for child support, fees, and fines.
Okay, explain that a little bit more in detail. Let's give some what-if scenarios as it relates to the fines and fees and child support.
Okay, what if you were unfortunate enough to be charged with a drug crime and you had to enter drug court? And what if you just got a new job? The court orders you to pay the fee, I believe it's $750, to enter drug court, and they order you to pay it through the court order payment receiver's office, which is a division of Superior Court Clerk's office. If you have to pay that, then you would have to come down to the office. You get off work, go get a money order, and come down to the clerk's office to make that payment. Well, now you can log in from your computer, from the public library, from your smartphone, from your iPad,
Wow.
from your device, and make your payment for your case. Or what if you are the non-custodial parent of a child, you recently got a divorce, and you were ordered to pay child support? What if you moved out of town? You would have to either mail that payment in or drive in to, again, bring cash or a money order to the clerk's office. Well, with this program, with web-based payments, you can log in from your desk at work, from your computer at home in your pajamas, from your smartphone while you're sitting in traffic, which I don't recommend texting and driving or going online while you're driving, but you could make those payments online from wherever you are for child support. And when you pay those or make those payments online, we receive it quicker than if you were to mail it in.
Right.
And that means that the recipient, the parent, also receives that money quicker to help care for that child. So it's just another way for the citizens to be able to make payments and to receive payments a little more efficiently.
Now, what are the scenarios around which one has to pay restitution? What does that mean?
Restitution is when someone is ordered to pay back another person that they've harmed. Most of the time it's through a criminal case. So for example, if a woman's purse was stolen or some checks were written from her checkbook in the amount of $1,000, and the police officers caught the person, prosecuted the crime, that defendant would be ordered to pay restitution. So you have to pay back what you stole, basically, and pay that to the court-ordered payment receiver's office.
That's so outstanding. I think it's phenomenal that you can do that, particularly as it relates, and it's so sad. Well, let me ask you another question while I'm thinking about it. What if a person had a $200 a month payment for child support, and that person made $200 a week? Now, can they parcel out that payment, or do they have to pay all of it at the same time?
They can schedule recurring payments online. So we can set up recurring payments so long as you pay that total $200
Within the monthly period?
within that month, then you won't
But
be
I
held in
think
contempt.
that would be an extreme convenience, and I think and you know better than I do, there are a whole lot of people down at the county jail, a whole lot, too
Right.
many, and that are in jail because of child support. I just happen to know 2 or 3 of them personally. So I'm visualizing that if in fact there was a way that they could do partial payments over a period of time, then that might make it easier. Then it would help the entire community, because it costs a lot of money, first of all, to house these inmates, and it really is a burden, on the mother or the custodian who cannot, who are not able to get their money on time, and oftentimes because it's such a large amount, whatever it is, then the person does not pay it. I started to say the father, but sometimes mamas have to pay.
That's right. Sometimes mothers have to pay child support. And again, you can make those partial payments so long as you pay what the court ordered you to pay. So I'm not
Within the
saying,
month.
let's not be confused.
Yeah.
You have to pay whatever the court says, whatever amount the court says,
Within the month.
within that month.
Yeah. But I'm thinking more like it might be easier for some people to make a weekly payment of $50
Absolutely.
rather than $200 in one shot.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, well, I guess we better tell people how to access this website.
Absolutely. You can just log on from your computer, from your smart device, go to www.bibsuperiorcourtpmts.com.
www.bibsuperiorcourtpmts.com, and then it will walk you through how to make the payments. Now, how about the phone numbers?
If you have questions, you can call 478-621-6550. Also, we have the ability to speak with you. If English is not your first language, then you can certainly still use that. Call the number that's on the website, and we can facilitate that transaction for non-English speakers.
478-621-6550. Well, let me tell you something, Superior Court Clerk Woodford.
Yes, sir.
I would like to congratulate you. And I think what you are doing models, what elected officials and governmental services should be about. And I congratulate you. And I'm sure that you can go ahead and assure the people again that if they've got any problem or any questions, then they're welcome in the office.
Absolutely. You are always welcome at the Superior Court Clerk's office. Our doors are always open. And again, this gives you 24-hour access to make your payments online.
This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Miss Erica Woodford, Clerk of Superior Court here in Bibb County. I want to thank you again, and I want to congratulate you again, and I wish you Godspeed in all of your endeavors with the Superior Court.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Macon Cherry Blossom Festival has been around for a long time. And matter of fact, the color pink has become more popular since the Cherry Blossom Festival than it has ever been in the history of Central Georgia. Consequently, we have with us today Mr. Jake Ferro, who's the Executive Director, is that correct?
Sure.
The Executive Director of the Macon Cherry Blossom Festival, and we're happy to have him because he has initiated a new approach toward the festival and the board and the activities in the community. So I thought it would be robbery if we didn't at least expose the community to all of the good things that the festival is doing, and to apprise you of a lot of things that are coming up that I'm certain you want to be a part of. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, and I want to welcome you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Alex. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, glad that you are here. Just tell us a little something about yourself before we get into the activities.
Well, I came to Macon back in 1986 to work for J.M. Huber Corporation over in Twiggs County. And within a year, less than a year, I met Carolyn Creighton, who has a very unique way about her in getting people involved in the community, and especially Cherry Blossom. And my wife and I volunteered for Cherry Blossom that year, about a year after we were here, fell in love with Cherry Blossom. And from that point, I worked for Huber for a number of years. I left Huber and I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, to work for a privately owned company. Came back to Macon. We love Macon. Our children were here at the time, and now our grandchildren are here. And so we love Macon a lot. And someone called me one day by the name of Mark Stevens, who was on our board, and he said, "Can you do me a favor?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "Let's have a cup of coffee tomorrow morning, Friday morning, and join George McCandless and Cindy Busby, who were on the board at the time." And they presented me that morning with an opportunity to help out. And it was a temporary position to fill in for a fellow that had just left Macon, Georgia. He was in charge of the Cherry Blossom. And I said, "I'd love to do it." And I talked to my wife that afternoon, and Monday morning we got started. And 4 months later, it became a full-time position. So it just snowballed, and I fell in love with the festival itself, the board, the excitement every springtime, and it was just contagious. And so we made some changes, and I'll get into answering any questions. But I fell in love with it because it is an iconic, wonderful event for Middle Georgia, much more than a lot of people realize. There's a lot of folks that even know how important it is. And so my goal is to make sure that we're a 50-year-old company, a 50-year-old organization down the road.
Right. And I think you're well underway. You know, the festival used to be pretty much limited to 2 weeks of just an array of activities.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed lately that you've added a lot of things as it relates to the activities of the festival. Why don't you talk about why you're doing that, what they are, and how they have been?
Very good question. In fact, I talked this morning to a fellow over in Warner Robins, and he asked pretty much the same question. And Alex, you're absolutely right. During that springtime, you have about 10 to 14 days of lots of activities. However, most of the activities are outdoor activities. And if you have outdoor activities in March, you stand a good chance of having rain 50% of the time. And we found out that first year I was here, we had rain about 40% of the time. And once you get rained out, there's really no turning back and saying, let's change something different. So we decided to have some rain plans for certain events. And then we got together and we said, I think we need to add a few things on either end of it so we have an opportunity to make a little money and establish a good foundation for the future. And we did last year. And then this past year, we did a little more. Then we got back together and said, we've got the whole year. So why don't we take advantage of the whole year? Knight Foundation came in and made an offer to us to do a Praise Fest, which we did in the spring at 567. It was a huge success. It was a small, but because they're not a big venue. But we took half the money and said, let's have one in the fall. And as things unrolled, unraveled a little bit at the end there, and we said, why don't we have a number of fall events? So we had Praise Fest in September. October 23rd, we ended up having an auction, Spirits in the Courtyard at the blacksmith shop, and that's October 23rd. And then Alex gave me a great idea back about a year and a half ago when we were talking, and it was the Battle of the Bands. And we pursued it, and here we are on November 2nd, going to have one at Henderson Stadium. Because of his, commenting to me that a Battle of Bands would be a good event. And guess what? It's going to be a great event. It really is.
Well, I'm a firm believer in generating and supporting activities that's going to be very, very meaningful for the entire community. Macon is a phenomenal community, and we've got so many resources. And anytime you have an activity like Battle of the Band, or Praise Fest, an activity in the park, or what you call it, it's not the street party anymore, it's the
music fest. Yeah.
the music fest. You know, it just means so much to the community. And Macon, I think what the Cherry Blossom has done contributes in our efforts to make Macon a destination.
Very good.
Because we've got so many things going on. So, in addition to those activities, how's it going? And how can the community help? Are there any situations which you would like to inform the community of? Or are there ways that the community can assist?
Absolutely.
Are there things on the horizon for the 15th festival that you want to tell us about?
Well, there's some exciting events that we're planning, which will be a lot of fun. First time ever, we'll have a kangaroo show, believe it or not, at Central City Park. We've never had kangaroos.
I saw something on TV this morning where kangaroos were
well,
boxing.
they do all that stuff, and it's going to be a fun thing. And we have a horse show that's going to be at the same park, and so we'll have 2 animal shows for the first time. But that's the springtime. But one other thing that, and Alex hit on it, the Cherry Blossom Festival is a significant impact to the community because we do bring people together. There's always a good feeling during the spring. The flowers are blooming and so forth. But one thing we found is that we don't have a real strong financial base. So what we've established is an endowment fund. And most organizations have an endowment fund. And eventually, long term, it builds up. And then you can have some of the rainy day money out of it. You could also maybe have a huge event that you never even thought of in the past. So the endowment fund will be rolled out in November. Plus, we're going to have a membership where a person can join the Cherry Blossom Festival membership and receive various things for their.
How much is that membership?
The membership will range from $20 all the way up. So if somebody wants to donate $20, $25, you could probably end up getting a ticket or two, and there'll be various things that you get in return for it. But it will contribute to the rainy day fund, which would be really, really good. But the events that we're having in the fall, Alex, very important because they will provide some finances so that we can set some money aside for the springtime. I think that's important. Right. But we did an economic impact study of the festival this past spring, and you all know, and we found out that the festival itself for Middle Georgia has an impact of anywhere from $5 to $7 million in that springtime period. So if it does rain during that period of time, that impact goes away. So by having things spread out, I call it expanding the footprint into the rest of the year, it's going to help establish a stronger foundation for the future. Because we are all about love, beauty, international friendship, and we're about community, spirit. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Right. And then there are other unique factors about the festival itself, although it's going to be in March, with the queens and the senior queens and the international attraction for your sister cities. Talk about that. Talk about the festival proper a little bit and some of the activities associated with it.
It's a good one. Back years ago when it first started, we ended up with Brown & Williamson, which is an English-based company, and YKK, which is a Japanese-based company. They were the 2 big supporters of the festival, so they became immediately what we refer to as legacy nations, would be Japan and the United Kingdom. And then from that point, we established sister city relationships with cities all over the world. We have Ghana, we have one in Korea, we have in China, we have Macon, France.
Macon
in France. I just got to say it properly. But we have them, and then we have Kurobe City, Japan, which is a sister city. But we've established that international flavor, and Carolyn did a great job with that because she really wanted the festival to be more than just a small town festival, which are good, but she wanted to capture the international flavor as well. So I think it's very good.
Well, we don't have a lot of time left, but I do want to give Carolyn a shout out.
Absolutely.
Carolyn Creighton, who's, I guess she kind of conceptualized this thing and moved it forward.
She did. She had an idea back when, Mr. Fickling found the first tree, but she took it and had a vision and said, well, let's have a celebration for Mr. Fickling.
Right.
And she did for 3 days, and she said, this can become something even bigger.
Right.
And her vision was phenomenal. She's created a legacy that has established an iconic event. I mean, that was all her doing, and Mr. Fickling's great generous support with the cherry trees that he
Well,
put
since the Cherry Blossom Festival is a community-based organization, how can one, I know how to find it, how can one get in touch with you, and in what ways can citizens assist the festival?
Fantastic. We depend a lot on sponsorships, but more importantly, if you look at deep down underneath the scene, volunteers, interns, people that can help us all the time. We've got a great website, cherryblossom.com, www.cherryblossom.com. It has all the information how people can get involved, because we really depend on a huge number of volunteers, great supporters. We have a small staff, an outstanding staff, got a great board, a supportive board, and all together, the whole unit is really, I think, moving in the right direction. So I'm excited about next year, but I'm excited about the years after that too as well.
I'm excited about all of the activities that you brought forward and giving it a different flavor and a different flair, and having more activities for the whole community to be involved. And I think that, one of the objectives is to reach all segments of the community.
Yes, sir.
From the, cradle, I don't want to say to the grave.
No, all the way to the experienced people. To the experienced people.
So, kids and all. Talk a little bit about how you try to have a variety of activities.
And it started before my time, but for example, 3rd Street Park, Monday through Friday, there's the free ice cream, and now the donuts from Krispy Kreme and the ice cream from Kroger. But there's activities where we have sidewalk chalk for the children downtown. We have all kinds of activities at Central City Park, Cherry Dazzle, petting zoos, you name it. We have for the children, but we have nightly concerts for the college age. We have nightly concerts for the experienced people like ourselves. And we have various other concerts, and we have a military tribute all the time, which is important. We have a senior queen, which in turn we recognize as senior royalty every year. And I'd like to have a senior royalty reception right here, which would be nice. I think
right here at the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center, where we take not only this week, but every week we take right here at the Ruth Hartley Mosley Center, 626 Spring Street, under the auspicious directorship of Miss Jerry McCoy. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Mr. Jake Ferro, who's the executive director of the Cherry Blossom Festival. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Alex.
Keep up the good work.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
www.makingblackpages.com